Today I'm trying to answer a question I've been getting a ton lately. Can you really make a high-quality YouTube short using free tools like CapCut? Or do you absolutely still need the full power of Premiere Pro and After Effects to get there? I've been editing in Premiere and After Effects for nearly a decade now, so they are completely my comfort zone. But after my latest short absolutely blew up, many of you asked me to show the free software method. Honestly, when you have that desktop suite history, I was incredibly skeptical about what a mobile app could do. Could a mobile-first app really deliver the same level of polish I usually get from a pro desktop suite? I wanted to find out, so the first thing I did was download CapCut on both my tablet and my desktop. Yeah, I know, I had definitely slept on it, but with millions of downloads, I finally decided to open it up. Immediately upon opening it, I honestly felt completely lost in the interface. So, like any sensible person facing a new tool, I spent the next half hour watching beginner tutorials. I focused on the absolute basics, splitting clips, adding overlays, working with text, and getting the sound design right. After that crash course, I finally felt ready to try executing something real for the test. To actually test the software, I needed a specific project to follow through with. I decided to make a short riffing on the 80-20 principle, that famous Pareto stuff. I chose to make it in the specific style of Ali Abdaal, because that is what so many of you directly asked for. I recorded a solid 3 to 4 minute take on my GH5 camera and then uploaded the 4K clip via Google Drive to my tablet. CapCut imported that massive 4K file just fine and immediately gave me the perfect 9x16 canvas. So far, things were looking incredibly good, and I felt optimistic about the results. But then, those little inevitable annoyances started creeping their way into the workflow. The first issue was definitely rotation and scaling, which always needs to be precise. On mobile, I tried the standard pinch to rotate gesture, but it proved to be very imprecise for fine-tuning. Here's a pro tip. Go into the Basic Properties menu and drag the rotation slider until it locks exactly onto 90 degrees for a cleaner look. The next major pain point I encountered was the actual cutting and trimming of the clips. In Premiere, I rely heavily on the audio waveform to instantly spot where speech begins and ends, which is crucial. However, on the CapCut mobile app, you simply do not get that helpful waveform on the main clip itself. This was brutal, but I solved it by using the app's extracted audio feature to find my cuts. You extract the audio, let it process fully, then mute the track slightly and line it up underneath your footage. You then use that newly generated waveform to accurately make all of your necessary splits in the video track. It absolutely works, but I have to admit, it is an extra inconvenient set of steps to take. And please, do not delete that extracted audio track until every single split is completely made, or your timing will go completely bonkers. Once I successfully got past the cutting phase, I wanted to try recreating a few of my go-to signature effects. This included an Ali-style intro, where a mask reveals a textured paper background underneath. I also needed some smooth text animations, specific subtitle styling, stop-motion paper looks, and a couple of slick transitions. The good news is that CapCut can handle most of these elements, but you definitely need to know the workarounds. Making that looping stop-motion paper background was actually the most tedious and time-consuming part of the whole process. In After Effects, I would just loop a few frames and use time remapping, which is super quick. But in CapCut, I had to create a brand new 9x16 project and import all the separate paper textures I wanted to use. Then, I had to split the clip every few frames, slightly reposition each slice, and rotate it just a tiny bit. I then had to set the duration for each individual piece to only about 0.7 seconds for the right feel. After that, I painstakingly copied those 5 resulting slices and then pasted them over and over again until I reached 20 seconds total. Mobile CapCut frustratingly doesn't let you duplicate an entire sequence in one go, so I had to copy each clip individually and stack them manually. Even though it was annoying, I knew this complex loop was ultimately doable with enough patience. Next, I added a halftone overlay track, set its velocity to automatic, and decreased the time gap to 0. I then slowed that effect down to roughly 0.3 to 0.4 speed and used blend modes like lighten or soft to keep it subtle. Finally, I exported that complex background as its own 4K file and imported it into my main project as the final looping element. Rotoscope masking myself out of the original footage to reveal that beautiful background was actually a bit of a brain teaser. CapCut doesn't have a straightforward layer order like a full non-linear editor, so the layer trick was essential to figure out. The trick I found was to duplicate the main clip twice. One stays as the base layer for reference. The second copy was used as an overlay, where I animated a downward reveal using the built-in split mask feature. The third copy went through the cutout remover, where I manually painted out the background completely. Then came the delicate part, carefully matching the rotation, scale, and position, so it lined up perfectly with the other layers. If those values don't match exactly, the whole effect looks janky, so constantly check the numbers. Also, pay extremely close attention to the layer ordering, because mobile CapCut loves to sneak overlays to the very top. Adding text and graphics is generally easy enough to accomplish within the application. However, I hit a truly weird bug where, after finishing all my animations, every single piece of text I had added suddenly disappeared. I tried clearing the cache and reapplying fonts, but none of those standard fixes actually worked for me. The ugly workaround that ultimately saved my edit was exporting the finished video at the highest resolution possible. Then, I had to import that entire fresh render back into a brand new project to finally apply all the text on top. It's an ugly process, but it legitimately saved me from having to restart the entire timeline from scratch. On the positive side, the stickers and tape graphics were actually delightful to use and very useful for callouts. Chroma keying a cool falling money clip I found on YouTube was embarrassingly simple to execute in the app. You just add the clip, use the cutout feature, select the green color, and boom, you are instantly set up. Transitions within the application are pleasantly simple to implement for most common needs. You just click the tiny buttons situated right between the clips and choose from standard zooms or slides. I used small zoom effects on a few specific clips, which, when paired with sound effects, made the paste feel incredibly punchy. Speaking of sound, CapCut's dedicated audio layers and its in-app sound effects library are surprisingly handy tools. However, I still prefer pulling my main music and sound design tracks directly from my preferred external artlist pack. Layering the main music, quick hits, and subtle whooshes was straightforward and really made the whole thing feel alive. The captions feature was an unexpected highlight of the entire mobile editing experience. CapCut's automatic captioning actually transcribed my entire spoken take quite accurately overall. I only had to go in and manually fix a couple of specific names, like when it incorrectly transcribed one person's name. The ability to batch edit and split captions right in place was super easy once you found the menu. Styling captions, like choosing the font, adding a border, and adjusting padding, is also quite capable when you find the right settings. Once you find those perfect styles, you just apply them to all captions, which saves a ton of future headaches. Moving over to the desktop version of CapCut, the experience felt generally similar but much tidier overall. Most of the features are just located in different spots, which caused me some initial confusion. I initially struggled with smoothing keyframe animations because there isn't an obvious graph button, like there is on the mobile version. The desktop trick for smoothing is to right-click, show the keyframe animation panel, and then open the attribute dropdown. From there, you open another dropdown and can finally edit the curve by choosing the middle smoothing handle for a nice ease. It absolutely works and gets the job done, but it's nowhere near as intuitive as the process in Premiere. So, what is my final verdict on the performance of CapCut for these types of shorts? It is honestly incredible considering that the software is completely free to use for everyone. You can absolutely make a professional-looking short with it, provided you have patience and are willing to learn those specific workarounds. However, I must stress that the experience is simply not seamless from start to finish. The waveform visibility issue, the tricky layer management, the quirky text bugs, and all the tedious duplication slow you down considerably. If you are a creator who is seriously trying to scale your content across multiple platforms, those little inefficiencies really do start to add up fast. Which brings me to the tool I have actually been leaning on much more heavily recently, Vizard. I know, I went through the entire CapCut test because everyone wants free and accessible software. But there is a different category of productivity tool that I think a lot of creators are completely sleeping on right now. Vizard isn't attempting to be a clone of Premiere or After Effects, it's built for a specific purpose. It's specifically designed for creators who want to turn long-form footage into consistent short-form content without all the manual grind. Here's the real thing to consider. As creators, we aren't just editors. We are writers, hosts, marketers, and community managers. Spending hours manually chopping audio waveforms, duplicating frames, and re-exporting just to get captions on top steals valuable creative time. Vizard specifically addresses this by auto-editing the most viral bits of content for you automatically. You upload one long video, and the AI finds the most shareable moments and outputs ready-to-post clips right away. It automatically picks out the high-engagement pieces, the genuine laughs, the quotable sentences, and the best punchlines, so your content performs better. Then there's the powerful scheduling feature that simplifies the final distribution step. Instead of manually exporting and uploading across every single platform, Vizard has an auto-schedule feature built right in. You simply set how often you want to post, and the system queues and publishes everything based on your custom settings. This eliminates those stressful late-night uploads, or the chaos that comes from managing multiple clipboard entries. The content calendar also lets you view everything in one centralized place for quick editing, tweaking, and final approval. You can manage posts for multiple social feeds without ever having to juggle 5 different applications simultaneously. Compare that to CapCut, where you can make the clip but still need a separate manual workflow to get it posted, or Premiere, where you have to figure out distribution yourself. And regarding captions and text styling, Vizard's closed captions are surprisingly slick and designed specifically for social formats. They style consistently across all clips, allow for easy batch editing, and follow best practice timing so you don't babysit every single block. Plus, because Vizard focuses on repurposing long-form material, it often gets better at picking contextually strong moments that genuinely deserve captions. That means you end up spending significantly less time on trimming edits and overall fix-up work. Look, I'm not saying Vizard completely replaces Premiere for any high-end motion graphics work you need to do. If you need complex compositing or cinematic-grade color work, you should absolutely go to After Effects or Resolve. But for the everyday creator who needs to crank out dozens of clips and maintain a consistent posting cadence, Vizard removes that repetitive editing friction. It actually complements tools like CapCut perfectly. Let Vizard auto-identify and edit the viral clips first. Then, if you still want to add those fancy masked reveals or custom overlays, you pull the short into CapCut or Premiere for that quick final polish. To wrap everything up, Yes, you can definitely make a high-quality short on CapCut with effort. If you are only making occasional shorts and genuinely love the tinkering process, CapCut is an absolute miracle for free. But if your primary goal is speed, scale, more clips, regular posting, and far less busy work, a workflow including Vizard will get you there much faster. The auto-selection of viral clips, the auto-scheduling of posts, and the one-stop content calendar are small perks that compound into huge time savings. So if you are a creator trying hard to grow your channel without completely burning out, try this recommended approach. Record your next long video, run it through Vizard to auto-generate your top-performing snippets, and tweak the best ones quickly. Then only use CapCut or Premiere for any chef-level finishing touches that you feel are absolutely necessary for the final product. You will end up spending way more time actually creating new, engaging content, and far less time fighting with timelines and duplicated clips. Alright, that concludes the entire experiment I ran on these different editing workflows. I learned that CapCut can absolutely produce high-quality shorts, but for those needing consistency and scale, Vizard is where the real leverage lies. Go out there and make amazing stuff, have fun experimenting with new tools, and remember this key point. You are only ever one repeatable process away from multiplying your entire content output dramatically. Thanks so much for watching this video, or for taking the time to read through the details. If you want, I can drop a full walkthrough of my exact Vizard workflow in the next video right here. I'll show you how I upload one 30-minute episode and end up with 20 ready-to-post shorts complete with captions and a 2-week schedule. Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? Let me know in the comments if that sounds like something you would like to see next time.